Sponsored by Midland. Communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years.
Always remember, the opinion you follow should be your own. Just consider the things stated here to be a second opinion from a complete stranger online.
Hi, my name is Phil from WAYPOINT Overland, and you're listening to Random Waypoints. All right, so here we go. Welcome to another episode of the Random Waypoints podcast. We'll be doing an episode every week. So like, share, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to make sure you don't miss an episode. This week, we'll answer a viewer's question about suspensions and wheel upgrades. And during our taste test segment, we'll be tasting my favorite gin and my favorite gin-based drink. If you're currently looking for the perfect camera for overlanding, we'll be showing you an outrageous deal. Also, we'll have another installment of a segment called Waypoints that deals with navigation and planning itineraries for the overland traveler. And I'll share another one of my random lists. So stay tuned for the whole show. But first, let's look at the news.
During this segment, we'll cover various topics with a connection to overlanding in some way. It could be land use news regarding the national parks or the Bureau of Land Management. We'll keep you up to date on any auto industry news when it pertains to relevant and potential overlanding vehicles. There will be camping and outdoor industry news, as well as photography and video, fishing, hiking, and on and on. Now, here's the news.
I received an email this week from Ray Hyland informing me and others that there won't be a Northwest Overland Rally, BC Overland Rally, or Rocky Mountain Overland Rally this year. Ray goes on to state, our events gather crowds of up to 2,500 people, and it doesn't appear that we would be permitted to have such a gathering in any of the locations that we favor. And even if we were, we don't feel confident that we could keep that many people safe through social distancing and increased cleaning without dramatically changing the way we hold the events. The rallies are as much about socializing as they are about the amazing classes and wonderful vendors on the field. Changing the rallies to work around the restrictions would make them less focused, less fulfilling, and less fun. We'd rather postpone the events than run an event we're not proud of. This is not the end of the rallies. We hope to see you in 2022 in Washington State, British Columbia, and Colorado. The World Health Organization has certified a vehicle as a medical device for the first time. That's right. Toyota teamed up with B Medical Systems to build a vaccine delivery vehicle capable of transporting vaccines safely to remote areas in developing countries, and has obtained performance, quality, and safety pre-qualification for quality of medical devices and equipment as set forth by the World Health Organization. This is the first refrigerated vehicle for vaccines in the world that has obtained this pre-qualification. The two companies paired a Landcruiser J78 with a 14 cubic foot refrigerator designed for medical use. The vehicle powers the refrigerator while driving, and the battery can run it for an additional 16 hours. The vehicle Toyota used for this project isn't the same one you can buy at a U.S. dealership today. In the 1980s, Toyota divided its Landcruiser lineup into two products, a comfort-oriented version called the J60 and an off-road-oriented version called the J70. The U.S. got the J60, and it's evolved over the decades into today's model, the J200. Now, the J70 went to parts of the world where low-range gearing for trails is more important than a supple ride. The J78 is a commercial version of the J70. It's been in production continuously since 1984. It has ultra-low range gearing along with a raised driving position for a better view of the ground off-road. It's the perfect choice for carrying vaccines anywhere, but it's not legal in the U.S. because of emissions and safety regulations. However, it's perfect for transporting vaccines and thus the first car ever certified as a medical device. That will be useful long after the COVID-19 crisis has ended. Toyota notes that approximately 20% of infant vaccines worldwide are disposed of annually. And this is because they become unusable due to temperature changes during transport, and the road infrastructures are inadequate and there are no proper means for refrigeration in transportation. Well, let's go ahead and go along to random lists.
Random Lists is all about lists Waypoint Overland has created on an array of topics, such as top 5 national parks, top 10 trails in the United States, top 10 fill in the blank. I think you get it. Some lists will be pure fun, and others very informational. But they all will have a connection to overlanding in some way. We're very interested in hearing your suggestions for upcoming lists in the comments. Now, here's our random list.
My random list this week is my top 5 natural wonders in the U.S. At number 1, I have Yellowstone National Park in Wyoming. Yellowstone National Park was established in 1872 by the U.S. Congress and is located in Wyoming. It's considered as the first national park in the world and one of the largest. This park is famous for its natural beauty, presence of wildlife, and its many geothermal features, especially Old Faithful Geyser, one of the most popular features in the park. Yellowstone has many recreational opportunities, including hiking, camping, boating, fishing, and exploration. Paved pathways provide close access to the major geothermal regions as well as some of the lakes and waterfalls. At number 2, I have Delicate Arch in Arches National Park, Utah. Delicate Arch is a 52-foot tall, freestanding natural arch situated in Arches National Park near Moab, Utah. This park is famous for 2,000 natural sandstone arches. These beautiful sandstone towers make this park unique and attractive. We mostly see the picture of this place on the cover of magazines, but it's even more beautiful in person. I have at number 3, the Grand Canyon in Arizona. The Grand Canyon is one of the most beautiful landscapes on the earth. It's considered one among the 7 natural wonders of the world and the most astonishing landmark in Arizona. Every year, more than 5 million visitors come to South Rim to enjoy the beauty of nature, whereas the North Rim is a remote place, which is mostly covered with snow and closed during winters. Various sports are available here, like hiking and walking tours, which allows visitors to see the beauty of the Grand Canyon at a slower pace. At number 4, I have Denali, or Mount McKinley in Alaska. Mount McKinley is the highest mountain of the United States. It's also known by the name Denali, which means the Great One. It has 2 important summits. One is the South Summit and the other is the North Summit. The South Summit is the tallest one, while the North Summit has an elevation of 19,470 feet. Mount McKinley is visited by millions of tourists each year for hiking and to arrange camps. Those who are adventure lovers and like mountain climbing, this is the most attractive mountain range for them. At number 5, I have Yosemite Falls in Yosemite National Park, California. Yosemite Falls is the highest waterfall in North America. It's located in Yosemite National Park of California. It's the 6th highest waterfall in the world. Yosemite Falls actually consists of 3 separate falls: Upper Yosemite Fall, the Middle Cascade, and the Lower Yosemite Fall. There are countless waterfalls in the Yosemite Valley, and it looks best in the spring season when most of the snowmelt occurs. Well, that's my list. Do you agree or disagree? Do you have your own list? Well, share it in the comments. Now let's move on to another viewer's question. I received the following question. I just purchased a used stock 2012 Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. My plan is to add a lift and larger tires and start overlanding. Almost certainly I'll have tire rub. Do you recommend wheel spacers? Why or why not? First, thanks for the question, and I'm going to get right to the answer. I do not recommend wheel spacers. Now, with that said, wheel spacers can be very useful for things like changing wheel bolt patterns. I've seen that used to match a rig's wheels with the wheels on their trailer, reducing the need for having two different spare tires with you. They also widen the vehicle's stance. If you have no plans on going off-road and it's purely for looks, spacers can come in handy if you just want to use wide tires. Because the stance has been widened, it'll enhance your rig's handling, your traction, and cornering while driving. But this also affects your rig's suspension geometry, its scrub radius, braking stability, and the effective spring rate of your wheels, as well as possibly cause wheel bearing failure. So let's just go over the pros and cons. The pros: wheel spacers are easy to install. It's a very economical solution versus others. It gives you an awesome vehicle stance, and you'll have improved handling and stability. Also, you're able to install larger tires and larger wheels, and it improves your traction. Now, there's also cons, and those cons are wheel spacers aren't legal everywhere, and they're dangerous if they're not mounted properly. It's also fast to wear of the suspension components. Now, if you do decide on spacers, I recommend seeking help from a suspension expert, because an incorrectly mounted wheel spacer or a wheel spacer of incorrect size or type could be extremely hazardous. Now it's time for waypoints.
Waypoints. Waypoints will cover all aspects of navigation for the overland traveler. Navigation is the act or practicing of navigating, the method of determining position, course, and distance traveled.
Well, the days are getting longer and warmer, events are happening, and people have begun hitting the road to start their journeys. So this week on Waypoints, we'll be covering camping basics and etiquette when overlanding. Now, we all know that public land is out there and free for us to use, but accessing and camping on it can be kind of confusing, especially for those who don't live in the West where most of these lands occur. There are different types of camping when it comes to public lands. Camping within public lands varies from completely open, primitive areas with zero facilities, all the way to designated campsites with basics like pit toilets and fire rings to full-service campgrounds. And when there are official campgrounds on BLM lands, they're usually first come, first serve. And they're usually clearly designated with signage indicating the nightly fee and ranger station location. Make sure to always bring cash or check for payment. Plan early online because full service sites are frequently booked 6 months to a year in advance. BLM and open public lands are often the most rewarding locations located far away from the crowds. To zero in and research a campsite or area that offers free camping, my advice is use a combination of deciding on a destination, doing a ton of online research in advance, and planning how to travel there responsibly with little to no impact on the environment. I think that's very, very important. In addition, ranger stations provide motor vehicle use, or MVUM maps, to show where highway vehicles are allowed to go off-grid. Finding permitted camping areas on BLM land is fairly easy with a quick Google search for the destination you're interested in exploring. Know as much as possible before you go, and be diligent in your research to identify the areas where primitive camping is permitted and where it's not allowed. For instance, there's no primitive camping within 20 miles of Moab, Utah. Many people think you can drive wherever you want and do whatever you want on BLM land. Well, this is not the case at all. You need to stay on the trail, don't crush the brush, and always make sure you have a minimal impact on the environment. Abuse of public lands, that's what contributes to the closures of public lands. I advise thoroughly reading the Know Before You Go list from the National Forest Service. General rules of thumb to help you get started traveling farther off the pavement are, when in doubt, get out. Now, what does that mean? Step out of the vehicle, walk the trail, even if it means getting muddy or wet. A marked road on a map is not necessarily a passable road. I also think you should have a Garmin inReach or other two-way communication solution off-grid. Try to get to camp by 6 p.m. in the summer. Setting up camp after dark can be dangerous if you're not familiar with the terrain. Now, this isn't a hard rule with me. Some people, they enjoy a morning surprise when they wake up. The more research you do, the more likely you'll find an area that has plenty of space to hunker down for the night. Get in the practice of visiting the district ranger station. It's the best place to go before hitting dirt roads. Some good questions to ask while you're there are, is a camping permit required? Are there any areas that are closed? Are there any areas that need trash removal or sprucing up? Also, pull out your map and show the ranger officer where you intend to go. Now, dispersed camping does not mean camp anywhere, and that can be unclear. You are never allowed to make new roads or paths or drive in undeveloped areas. Fire rings are one of the best indicators of a designated campsite. However, if there is no clear vehicle path to the fire ring, you may camp there, but just keep your vehicle on a clearly used area. Don't drive off the trail. One set of tire treads through an area can quickly turn into 15 sets of tire treads. And this turns into new trails to areas not designated for vehicle use. This can lead to closures. Stick to clearly established trails when driving on public lands. Also, be respectful of gates. They're there for a reason. A phone call to the local BLM or Forest Service office in advance to ask about private public gates goes a long way to prepare you and yourself in advance. If you come across a gate on public land and go through it, leave it exactly as you found it, whether that it's open or it's closed. Ranchers may lease public land and manage livestock with the gates to control where they go. If a gate is marked private property, respect that and find a different path. Make sure you're aware of how water flows around you, especially when it's dry. If you're in a dry region and you find a spot that's lush with green trees and bushes, and you need to pay attention because that's an indication of the presence of water. And you want to know exactly how that water gets there. Look out for loose rocks and fragile terrain. Check to see what's above you, what's falling around you, and what could possibly fall at any moment, like a diseased or decaying tree. If you see arrowheads, divots in the rock for grinding grains, petroglyphs, or any other artifacts, steer clear and check in with the local ranger station about your discovery. Please, haul out everything and pick up after others who were less courteous. You be the adult. Study up on tread lightly principles and be familiar with leave no trace. I feel someone who is camping should have these things. The first thing is water. Invest in portable water containers that can carry at least 10 liters of drinking water. Make sure you have some food. Have a variety of non-perishable foods and snacks, and a stove that can boil hot water. Clothing, make sure to bring a few layering options for clothing so you can add layers in cold weather and remove them for hot. As far as your shelter, just make sure it's fully prepared where you'll be sleeping at night, whether it's a ground tent, a rooftop tent, or the back of a truck. And please have a portable toilet solution. It's one of the must-have items for primitive camping, and knowing how to properly handle doing number 1 and number 2 is essential to keeping public lands open and healthy. Some of the hardest parts of primitive camping are also the best parts, namely being completely self-sufficient and cut off from civilization. The other aspect of preparing for primitive camping is it forces you to be more engaged with where you are and what's going on. Enjoyment of the moment is heightened when you're already immersed in the landscape. Well, that's it for Waypoints this week. Let's go to a viewer question. A viewer wrote me to ask, I'm retired and on a budget. Can you please recommend a camera that will give me quality results and not break the bank? I have a budget of $750. I appreciate your reply. Well, I immediately had a camera in mind that fits this budget. But after doing a little research, I discovered it's currently selling at a ridiculously low price. For its current price, I recommend it to everybody and to anyone on an overland adventure or whatever you do. My recommendation is the DJI Osmo Action Camera. Right now, at the time of this recording, you can buy one for $199. And it has all the latest, greatest features, so you're not selling for anything because of the price. You can buy 3 cameras and still be well within your budget of $750. Not only that, you'll have enough room to buy accessories. If you create social media videos, take selfies, need a dash cam, or record video or photos during your outdoor and overland activities, this camera will allow you to record professional, high-resolution video wherever you go. It supports up to 4K 60 HDR video recording. It captures slow-motion video at 1080p 240. It has image stabilization and can also operate in time-lapse and hyperlapse modes. Still images can be captured in up to 12 megapixel resolution in a RAW or JPEG format. And when you rotate the camera 90 degrees, when taking stills, it'll automatically change to portrait mode. When recording in 4K 30 format, you can take advantage of the camera's high dynamic range, and it features a wide dynamic range to ease transitions between light and dark. Everything gets saved to a micro SD card at a maximum 256 gigabytes capacity. Both of the camera's displays feature touchscreen control. The Osmo Action can also be controlled via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi from the DJI app. Additional features include being waterproof and can be submerged down to 36 feet in water without a case for up to 30 minutes. It has voice commands for filming and capturing photos, dual microphones, dual speakers, and is powered by a removable battery. That's always good. The housing is so durable that it can easily withstand drops from up to 5 feet high. In the box, you'll find a mounting frame, a USB Type-C cable, a quick release base, a flat adhesive mount, a curved adhesive mount, and a connector screw for connecting the mounting frame to a compatible action mount. Whether you're looking for a quality dash cam, a vlog camera, or an action camera for your overlanding, at this price, you can have one for all of the above. For $200, this is one of the most versatile action cameras on the market. And it's jam-packed with advanced technology that lets you spend less time worrying about equipment and more time living the action. That falls in line perfectly with overlanding. I left a link down in the description if you want to grab one. I don't know how long they'll be at this price and how long they'll be in stock, but I am leaving the link for you. Next, we're going to move on to taste tests.
Taste tests. Taste test is where we evaluate the taste of a food product, whether on its own or compared with other products. Some taste tests will be conducted blind, while others will focus on a particular brand or item.
Last week, we looked at whiskey suggestions for a steak dinner and seafood. This week, we're going to look at my favorite gin and what I like to mix with it and food pairings for gin. My favorite gin is Roku Japanese gin. Now, in Japanese, Roku translates as the number 6. Inside every bottle of Roku gin, you'll find 6 very special botanicals that are sourced in Japan. That's right. Every aspect of Roku gin is crafted by Japanese artisans. And not only are Roku gin's ingredients of the highest quality, but many are also uniquely Japanese. That's why Suntory developed its own multiple distillation process as a result of the special features each botanical brings to Roku gin's perfectly balanced mix. I like to use gin to make gin and tonics, and today we're going to mix one. So to make a basic gin and tonic, you'll need gin and tonic, you'll need some slices of lime, you'll need ice, tonic water, and our choice, Roku at room temperature. Now, some of the munchies that pair good with gin and tonic are seafood, just about any seafood. I love also cucumber sandwiches. Berries go well. All types of pâtés, lamb curry, strong cheeses, hard cheeses, popcorn, fudge. And my favorite is smoked salmon. Now, cold smoked salmon is a delicious combination with your classic gin and tonic. The fat in smoked salmon or gravlax provides a rich taste when combined with gin and tonic. Also, shrimp go perfectly with the gin and tonic. So do prawns. Fish and chips, now, they may not sound right. It may seem a bit contradictory, but it's a really refreshing contrast. For a light afternoon appetizer, like I said, cucumber finger sandwiches are the pairing you need to have with your drink. So let me quit talking. Give me a second. I'm going to mix one and we'll talk about it. All right, so we're back. Okay, so I have a full glass of ice, which is very important. And we have some gin and tonic. And for those who like the details, this is Fever Tree Elderflower Tonic Water made with natural flavors, including hand-picked elderflowers. I have no idea what elderflowers are. So we're going to fill it up with tonic water. Smells good. Doesn't smell like normal tonic water, but it smells good. And we're going to add a splash of gin. That's a splash to me. And we're going to stir it up. We're going to squeeze some lime in it. And I like to add a piece of lime into the actual drink. So, this was to answer the question, what is my favorite gin? And also to tell you how I like to drink it. 99.9% of the time, I am drinking a gin and tonic. I pretty much don't mix it with anything else. Gin and tonics. There are other gin and tonics that I like. For many, many, many years, my regular gin was Bombay. And before that, it was, I can't think of the name of it. It was in the green bottle. But ever since I tried this about 6 years ago, this has been my gin. I haven't looked back. I haven't missed the other ones. That's delicious. It's refreshing. And I'm going to enjoy the buzz. Now, you guys are used to me pussyfooting around when it comes to how fast I drink and how much I drink, but you don't have to worry. This is my favorite drink. I love it. I know it's alcohol, but it has an energizing effect to me. The lime and the carbonation of the water, the tonic water, it feels good to me. So those cameras I talked about earlier, I already had 2 of them. And when I saw the price, I bought one. I live in a Amazon area where you can get stuff like the next day. So I ordered it and it was there the next day. So now I have 3 of them. I just wanted to let you guys know that I bought all 3 of them. I just happened upon the deal when I was looking to answer a person's question. And I thought it was going to be a good deal because the last time I saw it, it was like at $2.99, which is a very good deal when you compare it with like GoPros and whatever else is out there. GoPros, I stopped using. Well, I have 2 GoPros, but those are maybe 8 years old now. I don't like GoPros, and the reason why I don't like them is basically the price, because they have excellent sensors, they're good quality cameras, but they're outrageously priced for what I use them for. I mean, I have a bunch of all types of kind of cameras, and that's just like a throwaway camera to me. So I want it to be at like a throwaway price, and it's at a real throwaway price now at $199. So I have no idea how long that's going, but I know a lot of you guys use action cameras. So I thought I should tell you, because that would be a great thing to grab one of those for a couple of $100 and be able to start your season with a new camera or cameras. So I know this year when I do my footage, I'm going to have one inside, I'm going to have one outside, and I'm going to have one under the rig. And then for everything else, I use other cameras. And I also changed up my navigation segment because everybody I talk to is either already on the beginning of their journey, they're a week or 2 away from starting their journey. So I wanted to make sure that everybody out there at least heard the basics from me regarding what you should be doing out there, especially with the camping. I usually end the show, my signature ending, I mention tread lightly, and I don't take that lightly. That's why I say it at the end of the show, that I hope that everybody treads lightly, because, hey, we only got one earth. That's it. We got to take care of it. We got to keep it clean. Everybody should have a trasharoo or some kind of garbage bag to put on their the back of their vehicle for trash. And when I hate to say it, but some people clean up, but they won't clean up for others. And I know it's a lot to ask, but we need to start cleaning up even when we see that somebody else has abused the land, because they're looking now for every excuse to shut things down, especially now because they already didn't have enough people, and now it's even worse. It's hard to cover the amount of land they need to cover with the amount of personnel that they have in the Forest Service and the BLM and blah, blah, blah. And they're looking for excuses to close things. So please, if you happen to just pass by maybe like a fire pit, that's usually the biggest thing. It'll be a fire pit and it'll have like maybe just trash. Some of it even go as far as to have human waste, which is disgusting. But if you could just every now and then clean up one of those, you would be helping yourself and you would be helping the Overland community. Right now, living here in America, and if you're going to do your overlanding across America, right now, this is a wonderful place with lots of freedoms, believe it or not. And I just don't want to mess up. So that's enough of me preaching. I needed this. This is perfect. This will continue after the show, believe that or not. And I bought this one specifically for the show, and I'm going to leave it here. So anybody who I have as a guest, we got some good gin for you. That might not last. So today's taste test is going to be very short this week. I promised that I was going to go into the gin, so I was keeping my promise. It's getting really warm outside, so the plan is to do taste tests or some kind of cooking or something like that outside as part of my podcast. I have 3 different ideas. I don't know what exactly I'm going to do, but the plan is to do something outside. Someone asked me on my YouTube channel about my e-bike and whether or not I planned to use it for overlanding. I mentioned in my first podcast, and I haven't come back to that, I plan on setting up some rides as I travel across the country with people in remote places, take our vehicles as far as we can go, and then take the bikes as far as we can take those. So the only requirement will be that you have a rig that can make it to where we need to go, and you have an electric bike that can, handle it, because not all electric bikes are made to be off-roading. So one of the places I'm sure that I'm going to do this is I plan on attending the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. And in order to figure out where I plan on camping, I'm going to use the bike to reconnaissance the area. And I plan on, while I'm there, having a bike ride. So anybody listening that's going to be in Albuquerque for the fiesta, or they live in Albuquerque, you got an e-bike and you got a rig, just stay tuned. I'll be announcing it. This is so delicious. This is my first time ever having this tonic water, and it's definitely adding to the flavor. So I think I'm going to be ordering this from now on until I discover something else. But I have no idea what elderflower is. So like I said, it's going to be short this week because I was supposed to have some salmon for this, and the salmon that I wanted to eat with this did not come on time. So that just totally destroyed what I wanted to do, because I wanted to talk to you about salmon and, taking it on overland travel, because it's a very good option. Well, I'll get into it a little bit. Smoked salmon is a good way for somebody who's a pescatarian or who just likes to have seafood in their diet when they're overlanding. It's a good option as far as being a fish that's going to be stable for a considerable amount of time, and you don't have to worry about it. I've bought fish and put it in the refrigerator, and it went bad on me in a couple of days. So that's just a recommendation for you, is salmon, and it goes great with this. In another show, I showed you how I like to eat my salmon. I like to take a little piece with some chopsticks and roll it with some red onion and jalapeno. I eat the salmon and I drink this. That was my plan, but I couldn't find the salmon I could find it. It didn't, I didn't receive it in time. It'll probably be at my house when I get home today. So I think this is the first drink that I've finished on the program. I've drank like several shots, but when it's come to drinks, I've never finished a drink on this podcast. And I could easily drink several of those. I'd like to know in the comments, how do you drink your gin? I know some people drink it as shots. I don't like it as a shot at all. But as a gin as a mixed drink, I love it. I meant to play some music, but it's too late for that, so we won't even worry about that. But I just want everybody to know that make sure you're with us next week, because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a lot longer too. I can't tell you exactly what it is because I haven't filmed it. Well, I'm not going to hold you guys any longer. That wraps up the episode. We'll see you next week, and I hope you like, share, and subscribe. And with that, I want everybody to stay safe, tread lightly, and hopefully I'll see you here or on the trail soon.
You have been listening to Waypoint Overland's Random Waypoints. Like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Sponsored by Midland, communication for every adventure. The industry leader in radio communication technology and innovation for over 50 years.